Many moons ago, back in the land of Erin, there lived the king of Ulster and his Red Branch warriors. The king had a nephew, Setanta. Now that may not be a name you know, because Setanta would rise to glory under a different title, and this is the story of how he got his name. In the wilds of Ulster there lived a smith known as Chulainn. Now Chulainn, whilst not a wealthy man, was a very skilled and very honourable man. He sent word to the king inviting him to a feast at his home, though he did ask that only a few of the Red Branch accompany the king, so as his hospitality was not overstretched and food and drink would be plentiful. The king agreed, and gathering no more than half a dozen of the Red Branch, set out on the road to Chulainn's home. On the road they passed the playing fields, where Setanta was engaged in a game of hurling, or shinty as you might know it. Such was his skill that he faced 3 other youths alone. The king and his men watched for a while, enjoying the game. Then finally the king called to his nephew, "Setanta, will you join us at Chulainn's for this great feast?" Setanta, not done with shinty, did promise to follow on after he was done. The king thought this was good, and was on his way. The king and his men soon found themselves in the comfort of Chulainn's home. Chulainn was every bit as good as his word, and the drink did flow as soon as the king had arrived. Now when the sun began to set, Chulainn did ask his king, "Do tell me, do any more of your fellows follow you here?" The king, so deep in his cups, did forget about his nephew, and told Chulainn there was no one. Now Chulainn, being of no skill at arms, and having no one to guard him, had raised a dog, a great hound, that stood as tall as a man. This hound would attack anyone bar his master, and thusly Chulainn did protect his home. This beast Chulainn did release into the grounds before returning to the feast. The hound walked once around the boundary of Chulainn's land, and then sat itself down outside his door, its red eyes fixed on the path to the house. Now as the gods would have it, not long after that, Setanta, having won his game of shinty, was making his way to join his uncle. Along the forest path he played a game with his hurl and his shinty ball. The aim was to knock the ball into the air, and then rush ahead and try and catch it before it hit the forest floor. In this way he shortened the road for himself, until he came to Chulainn's home. As soon as the hound saw the boy, it rushed at him with a snarl, its jaws ready to snap Setanta's neck. But Setanta was not ready to go to the Morrigan that day. As quick as a flash he tossed his shinty ball into the air, and struck it with his hurl. Inside Chulainn's home the warriors and the king did hear the ruckus outside, and were sure that anyone who had met the hound was now dead. It was only then that the king remembered his nephew, and leapt to his feet with a cry. When they arrived outside, they found the boy unharmed, the great and terrible hound dead at his feet. Such skill had Setanta that he had managed to knock his shinty ball right down the hound's throat, causing it to choke. The king was overjoyed, but Chulainn, with nobody and nothing to protect his home, was not. He turned to the king, distraught, and declared, "All of your kin are welcome in my home, bar Setanta. May he never set foot in my halls for the wrong he has done me." Now the king went to speak, ready to take offence, but was stopped by his nephew. "Chulainn, it is a terrible thing I have done to you, to rob you of safety and a peaceful sleep. Tell me, is there a pup of this hound in all of Erin? Can you find it and train it, as you did this one?" "Why, yes," said Chulainn, "but it will take me more than a year. Who will guard me in that time?" "I will," said Setanta. "You have my word on this." Now the druid Catbad did make himself known at this point, having witnessed the goings on. "From now on you shall no longer be called Setanta, but Chulainn, the Hound of Chulainn. And that name is the one that shall hold glory. Well witnessed indeed." And from then on, Setanta was indeed Chulainn, and that is how Chulainn got his name.